It was a great shock to me. I want to say this on the air. The Attorney General did not know.
You mean the Attorney General of the United States?
Mr. Robert Kennedy. Didn't know that I would have trouble convincing my nephew to go to Cuba, for example, to liberate the Cubans in defense of a government which now says it is doing everything it can do, which cannot liberate me. Now, there are 20 million people in this country, and you can't put them all in jail. I know how my nephew feels. I know how I feel. I know how the cats in the barbershop feel. A boy last week who was 16 in San Francisco told me on television, thank God we got him to talk. Maybe somebody will start to listen. He said, I got no country, I've got no flag. Now, he's only 16 years old. And I couldn't say you do. I don't have any evidence to prove that he does. They were tearing down his house because San Francisco is engaging, as most northern cities now are engaged, in something called urban renewal, which means moving the Negroes out. It means Negro removal. That is what it means. And the federal government is an accomplice to this fact. Now, we're talking about human beings. There's not such a thing as a monolithic wall or, some abstraction called the Negro problem. These are Negro boys and girls who at 16 and 17 don't believe the country means anything that it says and don't feel they have any place here on the basis of the performance of the entire country.
But now, Jim...
No, am I exaggerating?
No, I certainly could not say that you're exaggerating. But there is this picture of a group of young Negro college students in the South coming from colleges where the whole system seemed to conspire to keep them from having courage, integrity, clarity, and the willingness to take the risk which they have been taking for these last 3 or 4 years. Could you react to the student nonviolent movement which has made such an impact on America, which has affected both Negroes and whites, and seemed to have jolted them out of the lethargy of tokenism and moderation? How do you account for this?
Yeah. Well, of course, one of the things I think that happened, Ken, really, is that in the first place, the Negro has never been as docile as white Americans wanted to believe. That was a myth. We were not singing and dancing down the levee. We were trying to keep alive. We were trying to survive a very brutal system. The Negro has never been happy in his place. What those kids, first of all, prove, they prove that. They come from a long line of fighters. And what they also prove, I'm going to get to your point, really. What they also prove is not that the Negro has changed, but that the country has arrived at a place where it can no longer contain the revolt. It can no longer, as it could do once, let's say I was a Negro college president, and I needed a new chemistry lab. So I was a Negro leader. I was a Negro leader because the white man said I was. And I came to get the new chemistry lab. Please, sir. And the tacit price I paid for the chemistry lab was to control the people I represented. And now, I can't do that. When the boy said this afternoon, we were talking to a Negro student this afternoon, who's been through it all, who's half dead, who's about 25.
Jerome Smith.
And that's an awful lot to ask a person to bear. The country sat back in admiration before those kids for 3 or 4 or 5 years and has not lifted a finger to help them. Now, we all knew, I know you knew and I knew too, that a moment was coming when we couldn't guarantee, that no one can guarantee that it won't reach the breaking point, You can only survive so many beatings, so much humiliation, so much despair, so many broken promises. before something gives. Human beings are not by nature nonviolent. Those children had to pay a terrible price in discipline, in moral discipline, and an interior effort and courage which the country cannot imagine, because it still thinks Gary Cooper, for example, was a man. I mean his image. I have nothing against him, him.